Hello dudes and dudeens, domination tips. I'm right back with some awesome topics for you, with some awesome content. We stopped, I think, 5 or 6 days, nearly a week ago, I'm not quite sure, with analyzing the Gunpowder Age base layout. And so we're quite close to the next age, so to our Enlightenment Age base layout, I think. Therefore, I had some issues. I had some really severe problems because during the last days when I was offline, because of some reasons of my job I had to do, my mobile phone broke, and so all that data on my mobile phone have gone and are not able to being restored anymore. So all thumbnails, all videos, graphic, pictures, whatever is gone, and I don't have any access to it anymore. Therefore, I had to do some quite more the thumbnails, the videos, and the graphics all new for you, and that took me a long time or some time. But now I'm quite ready to present the next topic to you. We will go to the Enlightenment Age base layout, and therefore, oh wait, there is a message. Oh cool, a new player. We will say hello to him, and then we can start to go to the base layout. Level 137, I think, Industrial Age, not bad. German player, so I mean German nation. Der Wehrmacht. Okay, let's say hello to him, and then we change to my graphics I made for you. Again, the same graphics like all of you now probably which watched or viewed my Gunpowder Age base layout. I did the same with the Enlightenment Age base layout. So let's go to the gallery. Here we are. Come on. Yes, now it's in full resolution. Here we have the our proper or the best actual Enlightenment Age base layout I can show to you. Again, we are analyzing from the position of a maxed or maximum Enlightenment Age player, so all buildings are quite maxed. And if you yourself are in an even lower position at the Enlightenment Age, it's no problem, because it's only very important to have all of the buildings which are useful or which are available for you. At which stage or at which level these buildings are is quite not the most important fact. And okay, first I have my list to check every point. First, the defensive buildings. We start with our main defensive buildings with our mortars, and you see the mortars are very, very compact and useful right inside the base, in the middle, in the center of the base, so that they are not attainable, or so that the enemy which is attacking you is very long time not able to attack them just from the outer side of the base. When we call it, or when we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 space over here, so from this side even no cannons, no British ranged infantry is able to get at the artillery, at the mortar, sorry. And from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same. So from no side of the outer base, from no side, you can just attack the mortars instantly. You just have to crash a wall first to get access. Or to get in range, so that you can shoot at the mortars. But you can see the red ranges, which are just colored in my graphic, show that the mortars are in the position to shoot over the whole base. They can just close down the whole base, because they are able. At least one of the mortar is able to reach all places of the base layout, so that there is no hidden spot which cannot be shot from a mortar. That's very, very helpful, because so the complete base is protected by at least one mortar. Another very nice thing you can see here is some kind of triangle right in the center. In this triangle, all circled, so all ranges of all 3 mortars are combining or are shared. This is a shared or a common place, so you can see here is the range of the most right mortar, and the most right mortar with its range is even able to protect both other mortars with his range. So both other mortars are right into his range and can be protected. Same with the most left mortar and with the top mortar. All mortars are able to protect all other two mortars too. That's very, very strong. Because now, when one mortar gets attacked, both other mortars are able to fire also and to protect this mortar. But nevertheless, these mortars are very close together, but you are nevertheless not able to disable two mortars with one sabotage. The closest distance between the mortars is over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 distance, so you cannot use one sabotage. So one sabotage is only able to being used to disable two buildings when the range between or the distance between both buildings is at least 3 or less. But this range is 4. Like you can see, and the range from the other mortars also is even 4 or more. So you have to use one sabotage for every mortar, and that's very, very pain in the ass if you are attacking this base. I also have already mentioned that the mortars are completely shutting down the complete base. You see here is no part of the wall, no part of the base, which is not being able or being protected by one of the mortars. So the mortar position is very, very useful or very, very nice in this Enlightenment Age base layout. And all players of our alliance which are playing this kind or this structure of base layout also gave me this feedback that the mortars are very, very well placed. When your mortars are placed, because the mortars are placed in this direction, we have some videos in the end, like with the Gunpowder Age 2, Base Age, Gunpowder Age base layout 2. Sorry, I'm not in my tongue you. In the end, we have some videos again where I can show you some very successful base layouts. Even some Industrial Age guys whose maxed out troops attacked this base and used their tactics, war tactics, and they were not able to get shut down by the whole base because when players. The mortars are really a pain in the ass for enemy attacking players, and when they are attacking on the mortars, the troops are searching the closest way, and the closest way is right over here inside of the traps. So all of his troops or the enemy troops are running right into the traps from where they can shot by the redoubt and even the cannon tower before they are able to shoot at the mortar. And when they are able or in range to shoot at the mortar, they have to stay right over here where are some walls, and the walls are just limiting the space in which the enemy troops can stay. So when the enemy troops are able to shoot at the mortar, they are all staying at one place, and when one mortar shot or even some additional shoots from the redoubt are hitting these enemies, most of the enemy weak troops like distance fighters will already die. That's in fact at every entrance of the base, where we have on purpose let one piece of the wall away to get some hidden spots for traps and for enemy troops to invade, but on our purpose. Here you can see the same too. One wall piece was replaced so that there is an entrance, but this entrance is just on purpose. Next, I want to talk with you about the mortars, like I explained it to you, but for all guys which are new in my video. Mortars are really, really strong against a bunch of enemy troops, so against a lot of or very many enemy troops, which have at least only a little or middle of health points. So they are really weak against enemy troops like cavalry or tanks, which have very, very many hit points, but which are very, very low amount of. So if there are enemy cavalry or enemy tanks invading, mortars are quite useless against them. To compensate this weakness, we have a combination of defensive buildings of the cannon towers and the mortars right at every spot, like you can see. At the right side we have the mortar, and in the outer side of the wall or of the base we have the cannon tower, but both close together and in range, so that the mortar can just right protect the cannon tower from enemy cannons, artillery and range troops, and that the cannon tower can protect the entrance and the mortar from enemy cavalry and enemy tanks. The same at the down or at the below in the base, more below, where you can see again here is one mortar and here's the cannon tower. Both are right in the range of the of another and can protect another to compensate their weaknesses. And at the top spot of the base, we can also see here is our mortar and the cannon tower right in combination of together to compensate their weaknesses. That's a really strong combination because they, like I already told you, they compensate each other's weakness. At least we have to mention our redoubts. The redoubts are quite staying at every entrance of the base. So if you gave your troops the order or the command to attack any building at least inside the wall, they will always or nearly always, in 90% of every case, I think, choose the closest or the closest way. So they very, very often will not go and crush any wall to get at the inside of the base. They will just think, okay, over here there is a hole in the base, it's not completely closed. Therefore, we will run just right about here and get entrance by this open spots in the wall. And when they are running over here, even if they are only tanks and have very, very many hit points, they will activate the redoubt, and because the redoubt is firing, very many range distance troops, enemy healing cards, cannons, artillery, and even close combat fighters are getting hidden and wounded by the redoubt, which is protected by one very strong wall layer, and even by the traps which are laying in front and is spreading right around the entrance. What's the next point I want to mention to you? Here you can see the same with this redoubt at this entrance and with the last redoubt at the last entrance of the base. The next point I want to mention to you is, let me see, the walls. The walls are quite in that direction. We have analyzed very many defensive logs, and from the defensive logs we could make off, or we could see that most of the enemies are just attacking from the right or from the left side. Only a very little amount of enemies is attacking from the lower side of the base. And when they are attacking, they are always getting for these spots of the wall. When they are attacking from the left and from the right side of the base, so from right and from the left, they are in nearly 99% crashing one piece of these walls over here, getting entrance to the base, and then crashing one of these pieces of wall. Therefore, in this base layout, you see the strongest parts of the walls are just placed right over here at the sides or at the corners of the base, in which most of the enemies which attacked this base, like we analyzed from our defensive log. So next are our traps. You can see all of the traps are placed right at the entrances, on purpose entrances we have built in our base. And you can see at nearly every entrance we have some caltrops. The caltrops are our main traps we have. Because, like I told you, the enemy troops are nearly in every case invading this wall and trying to crush through this wall to get to the inside of the base, to get for some resource buildings or even for the defensive buildings. But caltrop traps have two main functions, I think. And the first function is they are slowing down enemies by 40 up to 50%, depending on their level of upgrade. And the second function of them is to decrease the enemy damage by at least 40 up to 50%, also depending on their stage or on the level. So you can nearly see that when these caltrops are getting activated, their range is that far or that big that all troops which are right into this space right over here and attacking the wall get slowed down by nearly 50%, and their damage gets cut or get decreased by nearly 50%, so that in the end these walls are 2 up to 4 times stronger than they ordinarily are, because enemies are only able to attack very, very slow and very, very decreased, or with very, very decreased attack. Therefore, these walls are very, very durable, and our traps have the main function to cost the enemy more time to get at the inside of the base. Here are also some spike traps, which are for the enemy cavalry or for the enemy tanks, because we saw or we analyzed that very many enemies, even especially if they have very many cavalry or tanks with them, they are very often attacking for the mortars or for the cannon towers. And when they are attacking for them, their cavalry or tanks are rushing just in front of the other troops. And when they get surprised by these traps, nearly all of them are losing half or even more than half of their life. And the cannon tower and other troops which are spawning from the inside of the base are able to destroy them, sometimes even before they reach these buildings they are aiming for. Like you can see, right at the downside, we have only some ambush traps, no caltrop traps, and even no spike traps, because so little amount of enemies only is attacking from the downer side or from the down below side of this base. All are attacking, like I told you, from the left or from the right side. At the left side, we have 2 times caltrop traps, because this spot of the wall or this layer of the wall is really, really long and unprotected. Therefore, we have 2 caltrop traps which are cooperating in their range. The first range is right over here, and the second range is right over here, so that they have a shared space in which they are slowing and down the enemy and decreasing the damage. Also, we have on the other side our Versailles. I forgot to mark the Versailles. I marked every World Wonder in orange, but I forgot to mark the Versailles. But later on, we will also talk about the function of the Versailles. Yes, now on World Wonder, the World Wonders and their functions. Let's go first to the Versailles. Again, guys, I forgot to mark it in an orange color, but it's no problem. We will talk about the Versailles now. The Versailles is just working as a big caltrop trap. It's not completely working like a caltrop trap, because it only slows down enemies and it is not decreasing the enemy damage, but the range of the Versailles is just amazing and multiple, very many times more huge than the range of caltrop traps. Like you can see probably right over here in this range I'm marking right now, the Versailles is just slowing down every troop which is in this space. There's another very important fact about the Versailles, which is common or which is shared by the Acropolis, and the fact is, or the function, that the Versailles and the Acropolis are world wonders which functions are just staying active nevertheless when they are destroyed. So no matter when the Versailles and when the Acropolis got destroyed, their functions are still active during the complete attack. Therefore, it's really important to place the Versailles and the Acropolis just in the beginning at a very important spot or at a very effective spot, because even when they are destroyed, their function is going on and it's not being able to shut down. The Versailles is just at the right entrance of our base and slows down every enemy which is getting inside of the range. Later on in the video, I will show you, and you will very obviously see that all enemy troops, that their problem is that they're getting slowed down over here and that the mortar is firing multiple times at them and killing most of the at the ranged fighters. And then the tanks have no support, no reinforcements of ranged fighters, and they are just getting overwhelmed by the defenders which are getting spawned by the garrisons and stables. So we have the Versailles as big caltrop trap at the right side. Therefore, we have 2 caltrop traps at the left side to compensate this. The next world wonder we have is the Colosseum. Nothing special about this. The Colosseum has a very huge range. I think it's a building with the hugest range in the complete game. I think the range of the Colosseum is right here, where I'm showing to you. So it's very huge, and it's completely over the complete base. It's working over the complete base. But what is quite more important is the Acropolis, because the Acropolis range is not that much big, but every stable, every garrison, every command post, and also the Colosseum, which are quite in the range of the Acropolis and which are highlighted in a special color when you hit the Acropolis, are affected by the Acropolis. And the bonus which is granted by the Acropolis is quite huge. you get at least, I think, 15% plus 15% hit point bonus for every garrison and stable which is quite in the range. So every infantry guy which is spawning by these garrisons and every cavalry which is spawned by this stables get at least 15% plus 15% hit point bonus on their hit points. And like you can probably imagine, the cavalry which have just ordinary a very high amount of hit points are getting 15. There in this case 15% are quite much more than with in the case of weak infantry. And like you can see, we have very, very many buildings right inside of the Acropolis. We have 3 out of 3 stables and 3 out of 5 garrisons, at least also the command post and the Colosseum. So there is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 buildings. There are in the Enlightenment Age not more than 10 buildings available to being affected by the Acropolis, and we have 8 out of 10 buildings right inside the range, and so the effect of the Acropolis is just affecting 8 out of 10 buildings, and that's a very high percentage. We have 80% of effectiveness, and there are only 2 more buildings to go. And you will see in the videos later that the Acropolis... Oh, I forgot to mention the second point. The second point is the Acropolis makes all of your defenders spawn 20% faster. So the spawning time or the cooldown time for the first wave and for the initiating wave and for the next waves which are following is just getting decreased, so that your defending troops are spawning more faster and overwhelming the enemy because of their huge amount. That's the second fact of the Acropolis, and you will see later on in the video that the huge amount of spawning troops and that these troops which have very many hit points and health points are just overwhelming the enemy because of the wisely or of the effective positioning or the location of the Acropolis. Then again, I will tell it for you, the Versailles and the Acropolis are even active, or their effects are even active when they get destroyed. So no matter whether you destroy the Acropolis during the whole game, when the stables and the garrisons are just active, they will spawn the troops faster and they will spawn troops which have additional health points. The next thing I want to talk with you about, the complete sense or the main aim of this base is, like you can probably see, the town center is right outside, to protect the resources. Now I want to talk with you about whether the resources are protected in a senseful way, or whether they are protected or they are not. Like you can see, we have right inside the base the trade good house, 1, 2, 3 mills, 1, 2, 3 markets, our oil refinery, and the command post. So we can at least sum up. All of our resource storage buildings are right inside the walls. So next I want to talk with you about is about the localization and the I don't know the word in English. So let's first talk about the localization. You can see we have many arms in our base. We have at least one. Here's one arm of our base which is leading to the center. The next shorter arm which is leading to the center, and our longest, the arm with the most space right over here, which is leading to the center of the base. In the right arm, we have only one market. So there's only one resource building. In the middle long arm, right from the top to the center, we have one mill, one market, and one mill. So 2 mills and 1 market. And in our longest arm, we have the command post, 1 market, 1 mill, and the trade good house. So depending on their length or on their space, there are, depending on this, there is the amount of resource buildings right in it. Now that was the localization. We have spread out our resource buildings in different arms, so that there is not one very long arm in which all resource buildings are, so that when you destroy one wall layer, you are just inside and get access to all resource buildings. It's not like this. You have to destroy multiple walls to get access to all resource buildings because they are split up. That's very nice. But there is another point I want to mention to you. And that is that even when you have split up your resource buildings right inside the base and inside the arms, it's a problem when all of your resource buildings, probably like the gold buildings, are right at the right side or at the top side or at the left side probably of the base if they are very close together. It doesn't matter whether there is a wall between, because far distance fighters and cannons can just shoot above the walls. Therefore, it's also very important to get some locations to spread them right around your base. Like you can see, we have one market at the top at the down right section of the base, one market at the top right section of the base, and one market right at the left side, nearly at the center of the base. So they are very, very wisely spread it out about the base. If you want to get access to all gold storage buildings, to all markets, you have to destroy nearly the complete base, or you have to attack from multiple sides, and you will lose very, very many troops during this attack. Now let's see for the mills. One mill is at the left down side, one mill is at the complete center, and one mill is at the complete top side. So you have to attack from multiple sides to get access to the mills, also to the markets, or you have to completely shut down the base and completely kill the base. The oil is quite in the center, and the storehouse is at the left side. Now you can see there you have to do great effort to get access to all of these storage buildings, because their location was chosen very, very wisely by the creator. That was all topics I had for you. I hope this was useful to you. We will go now to the videos, and I can show you how this base layout is working. It's quite not completely the same base layout. It's a little bit older version. You will see the town center is right at the right side, but the location of all defensive and resource buildings is quite the same. So it's nearly the same base layout. We'll see us in the video. Here we are in the first video. Like you can probably already see, here are 5 tanks, so Industrial Age player. Here we have some Chinese Industrial Age guys, also some artillery. I think, I'm not quite sure, but we will see it. This guy is quite maxed in the Industrial Age, so he has very many more troops and even much stronger troops than our Enlightenment Age base layout. But because of our sufficient style of location and style of creating this base, the base is defending very, very well against the enemy. Here you see some artilleries which are defending, but these artilleries are getting completely killed now. Here the second artillery is done, and now only the base layout is working. The tanks are just rushing to the inside of the base. That's what I wanted to tell you, or what I told you before. Tanks are very, very often rushing up to this point right over here and destroying one of these pieces of wall. But now, just take a look. The enemy troops will spread out, and the enemy tanks, which are invading first, are getting slowed down by the Versailles. Just look at it. Now they are getting slowed down, and they are very, very slow over here. He used sabotage to sabotage 4 of our defensive buildings. Now the enemy troops rushed over here right inside of our space. Very many of the tanks got rid or got stolen of their health, and they are nearly killed now. He again used sabotage because he was frightened. Now our cannon tower is beginning to shoot. All other enemy troops right on top over here in the range of the Versailles. The Versailles is completely destroyed, also like the Acropolis, but like we mentioned it, both of them are still working now. One tank is down. And here it is happening what I told you. Another tank is going down right in the moment, but the tanks are starting to attack our wall, and like we anticipated it was one of the wall layers we already have upgraded. So they are attacking one wall layer, which is one of our strongest walls, and they are staying right inside of the caltrops, so their attack speed and their damage is right decreased. Okay, the cannon tower is also done now. Our command post is very, very good placed in a very good location. So our ranged troops, our British command post troops are just shooting at the tanks over here. The enemy troops down here are spreading out. Now also the mortar is firing. Another tank got down. The redoubt was quite firing at every troop which got in range over here, because the tank activated it because of staying right inside the range. The enemy player which attacked this base layout quite recognized it and rallied all of his troops right over here inside of the destroyed Versailles, which is still active. Now we see all of his troops are moving very, very slow. Here you can see they are very slow. The enemy used decoy tactic. The redoubt got destroyed. But now the enemy is making a quite huge mistake. He let his troops all attack this piece of wall, this strong piece, and he's losing very much time during this attack. And then his troops are getting access to the inside of the base. And when they got access to the inside of the base, they will got shot by 3 mortars, and that's the completely overkill. So now the wall is broken. It's lasting a little bit longer. Now the wall is broken and the troops are getting to the inside. Now you see 1 mortar is shooting. Nearly all ranged troops are done. The cannon is also nearly done. Both mortars are shooting. His last artillery is done and he's only some healing cards and even 1 tank. And he stopped attacking us. So you see, he nearly got no loot by this attack and wasted even 3 tactics. So we have defended successfully against an Industrial Age player, which was quite higher than this base layout we showed. That's the next defensive log I want to show to you. It's an Enlightenment Age maxed out player, so a quite equal fight. Like you can see, it's an Enlightenment Age base layout against an Enlightenment Age attacker. No blessings active. Just look at it. He's starting right at the top, at the down section of the base, using some Gatling gunners, some cannons, healing cards, and even ranged troops. Troops are just moving forward. Also some cavalry he has. The Acropolis gets killed, but it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter. It's still active now, the effect, and you see a whole bunch of troops are getting spawned now. There are very many troops. The next wave of troops also starts here in the stable, and in this stable also already the next wave of defenders is getting spawned. Now he's attacking for the town center. Here are the Black Watch, or not the Black Watch, the Royal Yeomanry coming from the command post, shooting at his troops. He has already lost his healing cards, I see. Now he's attacking from the same side like our former attacker. Over here where the Versailles stood. Versailles is completely destroyed, but the troops are still inside of the range of the Versailles. Now he rallied his troops down over here and his cannons are right running into our traps. And here you see very many defenders, infantry guys, which are cooperating with the mortar and killing nearly all of his cannons. So only 2 cannons remaining, 1 cannon remaining. He got some food from us. No cannons anymore, only some Gatling gunners and some cavalry. We are waiting, they are going for the wall, attacking now at the enemy, at our mortar. So the Gatling gunners also are done. The cannon tower, very, very effective, is shooting at the cavalry. 2 cavalry, 3 Gatling gunners are surviving. Okay, only 3 Gatling gunners, 2 Gatling gunners, and the last one is done. He wastes 1 sabotage tactic, and the attack is over. 70,000 of gold, 200,000 of food. Not very effective. Guys, hopefully this video was very helpful to you, like all videos before. Give me a feedback, thumb up if you think the video was quite helpful for you. It's already very late in the evening, therefore I have to apologize for my bad English. Sometimes I had some twists inside of my tongue, but I hope it was nevertheless understandable for you. So we'll see you soon. Your domination tips.